This is our 10th lecture related to the number theory. That's your module 1 topic. So, if we recognize the last lecture, we have discussed about the division algorithm. A and B be two integer, then A can be represented as BP plus BQ plus R, where Q and R are the unique element. So in this lecture we move to some special note related to this and use some result to establish some particular thing. So in this lecture we start with the definition of a divisor. What is the meaning of divisor? According to any standard book, the definition is let. It says that let A and B be two integer. A and B be two integer such that A not equals to 0 if there exists an integer C such that B equals to AC, then A is said to divides B, or A is said to be a divisor of B, and we write A divides B. Again we repeat the definition. A and B be two integer if we can find another integer C such that B can be written as A into C, then A is said to be the divisor of B, and we write A is a divisor of B. Generally we write, when we divide B by A, exactly in that form, B by A. But when you use the division algorithm or other thing, here you have to remember that you have to use the notation A is a divisor of B. That line should be the straight line, equals A is a divisor of B. That is the way of notation. That is not, and this represent when you divide B by A, and this notation represent A is a divisor of B. Okay. So to make a clear idea regarding this, here we use an example. 2 is the divisor of 12, minus 4 is also divisor of 12, because 12 can be written as 2 into 6, and 12, if it's here we write wrongly type is this, wrongly written as this, that should be 12 equals to, that should be 12 equals to minus 4 into minus 3. So you can say that minus 4 is a divisor of 12, and exactly for this here we use the notation. Now we recognize the two different type of divisor. One is called the proper divisor, another one is called the improper divisor. Exactly for that reason, here we define the proper and improper divisor. If we divide a integer with the same integer, then that should be divisible. That means when you divide 6 by 6, that should be 6 should be a divisor of 6. Again, 1 and minus 1 is also a divisor of 6. Exactly for that reason, every number is divisible by himself, every number is divisible by itself, or divisible by plus minus 1, or the divisible by itself or plus minus of the same number. Exactly for that reason, the plus minus 1 and this same number plus minus the same number is called the improper divisor. Any other divisor is called the proper divisor. Okay, for that reason, here we give a definition according to the proper and improper divisor. For every integer a, plus minus 1 and plus minus a are the divisor of a, and these are called the improper divisor. Okay, exactly. Give an example to recognize the idea between the proper divisor and improper divisor. When we divide 6 by 2, it's known as the proper divisor. Okay, that means when you divide a particular number with the same number with the plus minus sign, these are known as the improper divisor, as well as every integer is divisible by plus 1 or minus 1. So these four are known as the improper divisor. Other than this four, all of them should be a proper divisor. If a has any divisor, exactly for that reason here we give the definition of improper divisor. If a has any divisor other than these are called the proper divisor of a. Proper divisor of a. So it is the basic idea. Exactly, we give the idea using a example. So next we move to the next case, that is composite integer. It's also known for you if we pronounce it as composite, means yogic integer. I cannot remember the Bengali term of integer, purno সংখ্যা. Okay, যৌগিক পূর্ণ সংখ্যা or মৌলিক পূর্ণ সংখ্যা. Exactly for that reason here we use the composite integer. If an integer a can be written as a equals to bq, where b and q are the integers such that mod b is greater than 1 as well as mod q is greater than 1, then a is called a composite integer. The question is again we repeat the definition. If an integer a can be written as a equals to bq, where b and q are the integers such that mod b is greater than 1 and mod q is also greater than 1, then a is called a composite integer. A is called a composite integer. The question is that why we use the mod sign or the absolute sign, because when we consider, say, just we consider a negative number, okay, or a positive number also, maybe a positive number. Here we write the 12. Here we write, say, 12. 12 can be written as -3, okay, and -4. So it's a composite integer. And 12 also can be written as 3 into 4, 2 into 6. If we consider this particular example, -3 into 4, in that case, if we consider that this one is your b and this one is your b, this one is your b, and this one is your q, this one is your q. So the number 12, the number 12 can be expanded, can be factorized in two number -3 and -4, where the mod value of -3 is greater than 1 and mod value of -4 should be greater than 1. Exactly for that reason why we consider that 12 is a composite number. But if we consider another example, say 5, it's not the composite integer, because you can write this 5 exactly in these two notation, 1 into 5, okay, or -1 into -5, nothing, okay, 1 into 5, or you can write this 5 is -1 into -5, -1 into -5, okay, -1 into -5. So in both the cases, if we consider b is your either 1 or b is your -1, and q is your q, 5 is your q and -5 is your q, in both the cases you cannot write the mod value of b is greater than 1, and here it's happened that mod value of q is greater than 1, but still both the number, while we factorize the 5, both the number should not be the product of both the number absolute value should not be greater 1. Exactly for that reason we say 5 is not a composite number. Okay, so the next one is the associative integer. It's also very important. An associative integer: two non-zero integer a and b are said to be associated provided a is a divisor of b and b is a divisor of a. Exactly for that reason we say a and b are the associative number. Most of the cases you think that the number both should be same. That should not be happen for every cases, because if we consider the two numbers, say 5 and minus 5, if we consider two numbers, say one is 5 and another one is minus 5, just consider two number, one is 5, another one is minus 5, so it should satisfy both the cases. 5 divides minus 5 as well as minus 5 divides 5, but 5 is not equals to minus 5, so this 5 is associated with this number minus 5. Exactly for that reason we say the two number is associative if it is happen that a divides b as well as b divides a. Next we move to the next cases. It's some theorem related to the division algorithm. It's a very easy theorem and you use this theorem in your previous class, that means 9, 10, but you cannot recognize this case because you just learn that it is happened. In that particular lecture we should say why it is happened. What says in the first theorem? It says if a divides b and b divides c, then a divides c. It's an as transitive property. If you can recognize the rules of reflexive, symmetric and transitive, that means division relation is the transitive relation. Okay, divisibility relation is a transitive relation, because transitive relation is such a relation where a satisfy with b, b satisfy with c. In that case a should satisfy with c. Here the divisibility is your relation. It says that if a divides b and b divides c, it's represent that a should divides c. Exactly for that reason here we explain the proof. First we consider it is given that a is a divisor of b. Since a is a divisor of b, therefore we should write b equals to some integer into a. Similarly b divides c, that means you can write c is another integer into b. So if we put this value of b here, if we put this value of b here, that means c should be, that means c should be k1 into k2 into a. If we consider k is equals to k1 plus of k1 into k2, because k1 is an integer, k2 is an another integer, therefore product of two integers should be an integer. So here we consider k is an integer which is the product of these two integer k1 and k2. Exactly for that reason here we replace k1 k2 by k, and if we replace k1 k2 by k, it's represent that c is equals to some integer into a which satisfy the norms of divisibility. Exactly for that reason we say a is a divisor of c, which is our motto, and it's satisfied. That means from this particular theorem we can easily recognize that the divisibility is a transitive property. Divisibility is a transitive property, so you need not to check that if such take an example, 3 is a divisor of 15 and 15 is a divisor of 90, therefore 3 should be a divisor of 90. Okay, 3 is a divisor of 50. Here we say that 3 is a divisor of 50 and 15, sorry, and 15 is a divisor of 90. From the transitive property we can say, we are not bothered to prove this because we have proved in general cases, 3 should be a divisor of 90. 3 should be a divisor of 90. Okay, so it's the application of the divisibility theorem. when it's says that it's a transitive property. Thank you.